Hello, Malaysia, Hong Kong, Australia, and followers from around the world. Our guest for tonight is the one and only Frances Yip. She really needs no introduction, okay? But for
You're
viewers,
very kind.
for viewers outside the Asia, okay, Frances is the voice behind the monstrous hit Shanghai Tan, Shanghai Beach, okay? She's a Hong Kong English pop and Canton pop singer. She's best known for performing many of the theme songs for television series produced by TVB in the 1980s and early 1990s. But today, she still sings everywhere around the world. She's really in demand, okay, by many people, okay? She's evergreen, okay? Now,
Thank you.
Please welcome Frances. Yeah!
Thank you, Chun Wai. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Frances, okay, welcome on board. We will go straight to the interview. Frances, how have you been coping in Australia since your last performance in Singapore, right? In 2020. To celebrate your 50th anniversary.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's correct. I came back actually very fortunate. My 50th anniversary concert tour finished in Canada in early 2020.
Oh, okay.
And I was in Toronto and Vancouver until the 6th of March. And I came back to Sydney on the 9th of March and everything went shut.
Yeah.
And initially it was a bit of a shock, oh, we can't go anywhere. And of course we had to isolate for 2 weeks as soon as we came back. But doing it at home is, it's not difficult. You just don't go and see the grandchildren, don't go to shop, just send them a list and they shop the stuff for you, it's okay. But then gradually it became a time of learning how to slow it down, because I'm always on the buzz. I'm, running here, running there, doing everything. So after the 2 weeks, I know we're not going anywhere. So I learned to slow down. And very fortunately in New South Wales, where I live in Sydney, they kept the golf courses open. The clubhouse is shut, but the golf course is open. So we were able to play golf. We could go to the park. I cycle in the park. I swim in the pool downstairs. So basically to learn to slow down and smell the roses, which was very good. During the Easter holidays, I spent a lot of time with my oldest granddaughter. She's 13 and a very keen cook. So we did a lot of cooking. For Anzac Day, we made Anzac biscuits and stuff like that. And she is now at the tender age of 13. She can cook a whole curry meal for the whole family.
You taught her or she taught you?
She loves to watch, all the chefs on the videos as well. But we all love curry. So laksa and stuff like that she can do now. Yeah, it's very good.
Okay. Now, I just want to ask you this. In Australia, do you have the option to choose what kind of vaccine do you want to vaccinate? No. Okay.
So we have only AstraZeneca.
Just one?
Only one, yeah.
Have you been vaccinated?
At the moment, no. I was supposed to have it on Wednesday, but because I had a flu jab a week ago, I must wait another 2 weeks. So mine will come on the 10th of May. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now, in Australia, the numbers are not very high. Okay. The number of
the government here is very good with contact tracing. Wherever we go, we have to check in. And also they were very quick. If somebody has been found or to test positive, they immediately contact all the people that they've been in the area. So it's been very well controlled. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm turning 60 next month, and I'm in this category where I'm at stage 2 of the government's vaccination program, where the government would not allow me to choose, but they'll have 3 options for me. Okay, I will have Sinovac, the AstraZeneca, and of course Pfizer. Okay.
Oh, you will have Pfizer. We won't get any Pfizer until October.
Yeah. So So in Malaysia, they say that really in this particular phase, if you're above 60 or 60 and above, you're most likely to get Sinovac. So of course, a lot of us are quite worried that whether we'll be allowed to travel to Europe or to UK, so we don't have a choice. Okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think you just have to have a bit of
Yes.
faith. I mean,
Yeah.
they've had experts working on it, 24
Yeah.
hours a day for a whole year and came up
Yeah.
with the vaccine. So you have to have a bit more faith. Yeah.
Okay, now, you know that a lot of Hong Kong artists, they have gone online. People
Mhm.
like Sam Hui, people like Maria, she does her Facebook shows. She has converted her house into a studio. Okay, now, have you considered doing the same, or you have done online programs?
I've only done the occasional Zoom appearance, like if it's a charity show and they wanted me to sing, and then I would go to a studio and get it all together and then sing with Maria and Elisa on the same show. But it's a fundraising thing. I've done a couple of those.
Okay.
But for me, Maria is very different because Maria, she has a big studio and, she's got all her sons work in the business and they've got all the cameras and I'm only working with a laptop. so I'm very amateur,
Okay.
But also since having been back, I've sort of gone very back to nature. Back to being a housewife, basically, not working, but spending a lot of time with the family, doing very womanly things, domestic things. I taught my granddaughter how to sew. We made a dress together because I wanted her to realize how much work is involved in making a dress so that things don't become disposable. And she enjoyed it. Although, I have to be supervising the whole way. We bought the fabric, we bought the pattern, we started everything from scratch until she finished the hemming. So, and I've also been knitting socks. So when I have free time, I do a lot of domestic things, but it's truly a time for the family. And I feel very, very blessed that I can have so much time with them and also that we are all healthy. And we can all cope. The days here are beautiful, not rushed. There's plenty of time. You can invite 3 or 4 friends to the house to dine.
Yes.
We haven't been out to eat a lot, but the government is now just encouraging us by giving us $25 vouchers.
Okay.
We can go and eat, go to the cinema with $25. So. So hopefully, I think the economy is picking up too. So that's good.
I think that unlike Hong Kong, Australia is really a good place to be in. Life is
because we're an island.
Yeah,
we're a continent. We're an island, and it's controllable. At the moment, the only travel bubble we have with is New Zealand. They've just started, so maybe 2 or 3 months I might go to New Zealand for a trip. But I'm not very. I'm not rushing to get on an airplane. Let's put it this way.
Francis, that the pandemic has allowed us to see things differently.
Yes,
and that in my case, I stay in my house, in this house for maybe 5-6 years. I've never spent time in the balcony. Okay. And then I had to be quarantined because I had dinner with someone who was infected. Okay. And that the next day, I know, I was tested negative, but I had to quarantine myself for 14 days. 14 days. And then I started realizing that, I'm sitting in my balcony for the first time, and I'm hearing birds singing and everything. Now, of course, I asked this question because we see things differently because of the pandemic. In your case, you have discovered God in a way. Okay, I read about you finding God, and you have released a Christian album. Can you share with me about how you have discovered God again?
Well, I was educated in a convent.
Sounds like me, Catholic school.
Yeah, that's right. So praying and God has always been part of my life. My faith has always been part of my life.
I see. Okay.
But in the last, I'd say my young grandson is now 11. And when he was born, he had a brain tumor. So he was gravely ill. And I asked all my friends all over the world to pray. And he survived. He's now 11 years old. So he's amazing. He's dependent on us because he's in a wheelchair. He's nonverbal, but he's a very happy child. So for that, we're very grateful. And I think during those days, if I hadn't been able to pray, I would have been very depressed, I think. But because I knew at that point, my duty was to look after the older girl, and so that her parents can look after the younger boy. And I just devoted all my time in taking care of, everybody in the family. I'm always made sure that food was cooked and shopped and, everything was done. I think that got me over the worst of it, or else I would have been really, really sad and depressed and probably won't be able to handle it very well. Okay. So when I'm low, or when I have a problem to think about or whatever, I pray. I pray. It has always been part of me. And of course, now with the grandchildren, Sunday, we go to church, and they are being brought up in a similar situation, knowing what is right and what is wrong. And the faith is something they can lean on, it's a great comfort. Yeah.
How did the production of the Christian album came about?
I have a very close friend who has been my closest friend in school. We've known each other for 60 over years. She lives in Canada, and she decided that she wanted me to sing a Christian CD so that she can sell it and raise money for the school in her particular parish in Vancouver. So I said, well, asking me to sing is not a problem. I've never done this before. So I got together some of my friends who live in Canada, who are musicians, like Tony Arevalo, and then we got the songs together, and then we did it. They did the music in Canada, sent it to me, and then I recorded the voice in Hong Kong and sent it back to them, and then they put the two lots together. That's how we did it. And it was very gratifying, because in the end, we raised a lot of money for the school. Over 75,000 Canadian dollars. And this CD is sold all over the world amongst Christians, which it's very, something very, very gratifying to do.
You performed at the Calvary Church in Singapore, right?
I think Calvary was in Kuala Lumpur.
Oh, Singapore. Really? I missed that.
Yeah. Okay. I was invited there to do a testimonial. But in Singapore, I went to a church it was a lovely church. Oh goodness, I wish I can remember. But it's a Catholic church, whereas Calvary Church is not a Catholic church.
Yes.
It's the same God.
Okay, now, you know that you were busy singing. You have performed for the last 50 years. It's like, wow, 50 years of singing.
It's a long time.
Yeah, and in this 50 years, you have achieved fame, but I followed your career, I'm at the age where I'm a fan. I follow your career, I've listened. I've listened to you singing all kinds of songs, Malay songs, Indonesian songs, and Japanese songs. I'm like, okay, this is mind-boggling. When you sing these songs, which are obviously not your language, how did you cope with it? How do you handle this?
Well, the first one happened in 1974 when I joined Cathay Pacific as a Goodwill Ambassador. They asked me if I would be interested in making an album, taking songs from each of the country they served. And at that point, they served 9 countries. So I said, oh, okay. Being terribly green and inexperienced, thinking I can do it. I didn't realize it was so much work involved. But in the end, it was really good, because I asked all the Cathay Pacific offices to nominate the songs, and then we sat down and chose them. And then the music was written in Hong Kong at EMI by Vic Cristobal, who is one of the maestros there. They have their own studio. And then I asked the Cathay stewardesses to come in and listen to me sing, explain the meaning of the song, to make sure that I pronounce and express them correctly. And this is how we did it. We did it in about 4.5 months. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And then when it came out, the surprise was that initially we thought it would be just a giveaway item, But after making 5,000 copies, EMI said, this is so unusual, we're going to sell it. So they sold it. And it introduced me to so many different countries in Asia. In Thailand, I was the first to record a Thai song. with an accent. You know, my Thai is not perfect, but they think the accent is very cute. The song is called Bua Kao, which is a white lotus.
Oh,
it's a song written by an old, it's like a nursery rhyme describing this beautiful flower that grows out of the mud and is absolutely beautiful. So when it was explained to us, the meaning of the song, Vic Cristobal wrote all these running strings, you know, about the water flowing through the mud and all that rest of it.
Okay.
They've never had a song treated like that. And it became a phenomenal hit for me. Out of that one album of singing the one Thai song, I ended up with 3 Thai albums singing in Thai. Folk song, Mandarin songs, and also Shanghai Tan, which was a big bonus for me. So now when I go to Thailand to do a concert, not only have I got to sing, you know, the White Lotus song, I also have to sing Shanghai Beach in Thai and Shanghai Beach in Cantonese.
Did they show the Shanghai Tan in the Thai version?
In Thailand, yes.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, they dubbed it, but then they kept the song, but and then they asked me to sing in Thai. So every time when they play it, in the beginning it would be in Thai, at the end it would be in Cantonese.
I see. What was the Malaysian version in your album?
In the
Malay songs that were chosen.
Rasa Sayang.
Okay, all right. Okay.
Rasa Sayang. The second time was Odimana.
Okay.
That song.
Okay.
And then in Indonesia had a lovely song called Widuri.
Yes, beautiful
song.
Yeah.
I still sing it now if I go to somewhere where they might have Indonesian or Malay loving, you know, song lovers. I would sing it. Yeah.
You know that this must be the era when the Cathay Pacific had this theme song called Love Theme. Very white. Yeah.
Yeah, very white. Yeah. They were expanding and they asked me to become their Goodwill ambassador. And I worked for them full time in the office for a year. And in a year, I traveled to 17 cities to promote Hong Kong as a destination. And it really truly opened up my eyes to see that the world is very exciting out there. So I was very grateful. And the outcome of this discovery, the first discovery album of all these various songs, it ended up on the desk of an agent in London. He was David Frost, you know, the TV personality. He was the manager. And he was so fascinated by this girl who can sing in all these funny languages. He actually tracked me down through EMI and then invited me to go and see him in London. And I happened to be going to London in a couple of months. So I had a meeting with him. And he said, if you can come to live in London, I can promise you a major recording contract within 6 weeks of your arrival. And I will get you original material to record. So for me, that just opened up the whole world. So I went in 1974 and I landed in London and I signed a contract with EMI on a global contract with EMI in July of 1974, and I stayed with EMI for the next 17 years.
Wow.
So it's a very long relationship. Yeah. But being under EMI has one big advantage. I could record in England, in Japan, in Malaysia, Singapore, Hong Kong, Taiwan. It's wonderful. So that's why I have so many albums, because you know they were recordings in each of the countries. Yeah.
But the biggie, of course, was when you started when you asked to see Shanghai Tan. Okay, when you first sang that song, okay, did you reckon that this one is going to be a real big hit, or do you think it was just no?
No, it was a total surprise. I tell you why. TVB usually give the composer 3 weeks to do a theme song. In the very, very beginning, we already know that this is a song that they would like me to sing, because they said to EMI, the next series is about a love story in Shanghai, and we'd like Frances to sing it. So EMI then contacted me and say, come back in January in 1980.
From London.
1980. Yes, I was traveling, you know, singing in different places, and come back to Hong Kong. So make sure I was there. Then Joseph took 2 weeks and 5 days to write the music. Until the very last day, he phoned James Wong, who wrote the lyrics, and dictated the melody to him on the phone. James spent about 20 minutes writing the lyrics. because he just listened to he listened to the melody and he said, okay, Shanghai, there's got to be a beach, right? There's got to be water. So he wrote Long Ban Long Lao, right? And he wrote all of that. And then after 20 minutes, he started to think he's never been to Shanghai.
And there's no beach actually.
And Wang Bo Gong, the Wang Pao River is not actually a beach.
It's a bun.
It's a river.
Yeah.
It's a bank.
River.
Right?
Yeah.
So he says, there probably is tide, but no waves, right? Yao qiu mo long. So he started ringing his Shanghai friends and say, what about this? Can I use this? And he sang it on the phone and the Shanghai person said, oh, it's terrific. Don't change. So it went out as Long Ban, Long Lao. But in fact, when you go to Wang Pao and stand at the bun, there is no waves.
Yes.
There's tide. So when I was given the song, well, after James had written it, he said, Joseph told him that the next morning at 11 o'clock, I was going to record it. So I got the lyrics and I found it very easy the melody, very easy to remember. But the first 2 lines took 2 hours because, well,
opening lines.
I've always sung in Western style. I've never done any traditional Cantonese singing. Okay. So I tend to want to phrase it differently, but I wasn't allowed to do that because if you play with the word, it doesn't mean the same, right? Long bun, the bun cannot go up to the nose too quickly. It's got to stay down there and hold. And you've got to have a lot of emotion because the waves are coming. The music's very, very strong. So it took me 2 hours to do the first 2 lines. But after that, it was a piece of cake. And what we didn't expect was the fact that the TV series was the first one that TVB made like a movie. Okay. It wasn't in the studio, with 3 cameras tracking. They had things outside, they cut this, cut that. And then, of course, the actors are wonderful. Zhao Yunfat, Lui Wei, and Jiu Ngazhi, really wonderful actors. So it became so popular. And every night, this song would be played twice, once in the start and once at the end of the program. So automatically, it got a lot of play. I would say at the time when the program is shown every night, there's nobody in the street, everybody's at home watching it. It was that big. So I was just very, very fortunate to have such a song, a signature tune like that. It sustained my career for the next 40 years, 40 odd years.
So when you sang this song, you did not have the benefit of actually seeing the TV series yet?
I know the story.
Okay.
But it's not finished. It hadn't been edited at that point. I just know the story. So when you get to the part, that you got to have those emotions. And also the feeling of yao yao hey, yao yao sao, all of that is something that you have lived, or else the emotion doesn't come through. Yeah.
There were subsequent TVB theme songs after that, I remember.
Oh, many.
Yeah. But Xiong Hoi Tan stays forever.
Xiong Hoi Tan, in a way, I was very fortunate to have that, but it also typecasted me. Yeah. After that, everybody wrote songs for me would sound like Xiong Hoi Tan. Even Joseph, right? Okay. Hong An is the same. Da, 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 da. It's all like that. Mok Lan Fa is the same. They're all very, very big and then very, very emotional. So in a way, Joseph and I got stuck in that frame, and we still haven't been able to break out of it. But I'm not complaining.
Not complaining because it really changed your life practically.
Absolutely. I had to come back to live in Hong Kong, and I really carried on singing. I mean, this is a song I must have sung over tens of thousands of times, and I never get tired. Yes. I'm really, really very grateful. I'm full of gratitude in my heart when I sing it, because it doesn't matter where I am. When I sing this or the music starts, people just go, wow, they go quite berserk. And it's even Easter Sunday, I went to visit an old folks home in Sydney. And the music started for these. I mean, they're really elderly. And
the video went viral.
I know.
Around the world.
I just went around them singing with them, and they loved it. And I'm so moved and so touched that I could spend an afternoon with them singing all these, theme songs. And they said, "Oh, this is our 飲歌. A 飲歌 is something you always sing in karaoke."
Okay, have you come across any version done by other people which really like, wow, so that stumps you or really had you laughing because you never really expect it?
I myself have sung a Mandarin version, a Thai version, and a Cantonese version. Okay. I have heard a Vietnamese version, but the lady had a slightly thinner voice, so it's a little bit squeaky. It's very difficult for the boys to sing because this is primarily written with my voice and my range in mind. Okay. So it's not easy for the boys. So Andy Lau did a fairly good job. Okay.
So recently in Malaysia, we have this doctor. His name is Dr. No Hashim. He's the man who fights the what they call it, the pandemic. Okay, and he's the face of the anti-COVID-19. And of course, being a public figure now. Recently, there was an old video that went viral because he went to an international conference and he was asked to sing and he chose Yong Hoi Tan. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
And suddenly it went viral. Okay.
Yes.
Very unassuming guy, very shy. He's suddenly singing your song. And we have people of all races, okay, Indians, Malays, Thais, who really do not understand or have never seen that TV series before and actually singing that song.
Yes. Well, when I remember in the 80s, I came to KL once, and as I was coming through immigration, there was a Malay officer, and she looked at my passport, looked at me, and then she said, "Long bun."
Even though your passport says Frances Yip or Yip Lai?
Lomax.
Okay.
My married name is Lomax. Yeah. But she recognized the face.
Okay.
And she recognized the song. So I was so flabbergasted. I said, I watched that. She said, apparently they showed it. So very lucky.
Okay. You, Frances, I want to ask you a bit of you growing up in Hong Kong. I mean, I read that you grew up in a very rural area.
Yes.
And that you're a bit of a tomboy. Okay.
I still am.
Okay, because that Mother's Day is coming in May. Okay, I think so. May 3rd. Okay. Now, share memories of the time in this rural setting in Hong Kong and with your mom.
I have a very free childhood. I could run around the paddy fields. I used to put my shoes around my neck and then walk barefoot, with the dog following me to go to school. And when I got to school, because I don't like shoes, I still, in the house, I walk around barefoot all the time. And I learned to ride a bicycle very early. I played basketball. I did a lot of boy stuff. I played with the boys a lot. And as a result, I was, big and tall, and a bit of not very girly at all, not girly. And I love that period of my life where I just had so much freedom. Every evening, when you can smell the smoke fire and it's time to go home because everybody's cooking.
Okay. Which part of Hong Kong is this?
This is in New Territories.
Okay.
In an area called Chun Wai, where it used to be hills, except the house where we used to live is no longer there. It's a highway. But the first house we lived there, we had no electricity and you have to get the water out of a well. That's how, I'm talking about 1950 something. So that's a long time ago. Yeah.
And that what did your mother do?
My mother was a housewife.
Okay.
My mother was a housewife, basically. My brother is older. My father worked for the agriculture and fisheries. That's why we were in the boondocks, really, out in the really rural area, because he belonged to the agriculture and fisheries department. Yeah.
I saw a picture of you wearing like a police uniform. What was that all about?
That was in 19 in 1967-68, we had a lot of riots in Hong Kong. As a spin-off of the Cultural Revolution. And I had started working in HSBC. And they encourage you to take part in community services, kind of to declare your leaning that you're not a communist,
not troublemaker.
Not troublemaker. So I picked the police because they had the smartest looking uniform, and I didn't like blood, so I didn't want to do civil aid. So I did auxiliary police, which I joined in 68 and I left in 73.
Well, that's quite a long time.
A long time, yeah. I did a lot of recruiting for them because I could sing with the police band.
So, police band.
The police band is very big. I could, I even went to Germany and Switzerland with the police band singing, promoting Hong Kong. I've got a good relationship with the police band.
So as they call it the community police, right? Auxiliary now. Did you require to do any a normal police work or just singing?
My normal police work was manning the 999 calls in Central Police Station because I'm bilingual. When you answer the calls, you have to be able to communicate first with the people who are calling, who may be Caucasian or maybe English speaking, and also you have to communicate with the inspectors who are all British. And then I can remember the first 3 or 4 months when I was on duty, we did a lot of communicating with the army because there were a lot of domestic bombs being left. You don't know whether they're real or false. So you have to communicate with the army, send them out to test them. In those days, we didn't have robots, right? They actually had to go and look at it. So I actually worked in Central Police Station for a long time, for well over 2 years. But in the spare time, like on the weekends, if they have a recruiting drive, maybe in the Victoria Park or something, then I would turn up in my uniform and sing with the police band.
But you were still addressed as, yes, madam.
Oh, yes, they still call me madam. If I turn up somewhere and if I run into a car accident, I can make a very precise report on the phone. And when they come and see me, they know, as soon as I talk, they know I've been a policewoman. And they say, you must have been a madam.
So how did you juggle your time being a mother and a singer?
In the old days, when I was working and singing, I didn't sing every night. I was only ever a TV artist. I would sing on Enjoy Yourself Tonight.
Very famous show.
I would be there on 2 nights a month. And then there might be some other special things. But I did a lot of recording. I did a lot of jingles, commercial jingles with James Wong and Joseph Koo. But as a mother, I have a mother-in-law. I had a mother-in-law and I had a maid. So she was in charge of the baby. I didn't have much to say or decide.
And now the role, of course, as a grandmother.
Oh, grandmother is wonderful. Because I was working, I missed out on, my son speaking his first word, taking his first step, going to the first day to school, because I was working full time. So with the granddaughter, I had her in my arms 12 minutes after she was born.
Wow.
I gave her her first bath. I got everything back. Everything that I missed, I got it back. And she's a really good buddy of mine.
That's so good to hear.
Oh, it's wonderful. Grandchildren are such a blessing. But the truth is, she was born when I was 60 and now she's 13. I'm 73. It's just gone just like that. Flash. 13 years. Where did it go? It's frightening.
So that what they call it, the pandemic has allowed you to do a lot of time catching, spending quality time with your family.
Yes. Really, really very, very blessed in that sense. I can spend so much time with them. We're nearly together always at the weekend. They often come up to eat, and I often go down and have a bowl of soup with them or something. They eat Chinese and I eat Western. So if they're fed up with Chinese cooking, they come up and then I make them, pasta or something and a big salad, or, they love it. So it's really good.
This is a bit unusual because the younger ones would not want to have Chinese food.
No, they have mostly Chinese food, and weekdays, especially if they're school, they're usually in bed by 8:30. So they must eat by 6:30. So in order to get it all together, mother would cook some stir fry very quickly, and then they'd have the rice. But whereas at the weekend we have all the time, right? She and I can cook a curry, or we make pizza from scratch, making the dough and decorating it. That was the first thing I taught her how to cook. She must have been 3.5. I got her putting it in the oven, and every 2 minutes she keeps coming. Is it ready? Is it ready? It's so wonderful.
Okay, Francis, we're gonna wrap it up soon. Okay, I just want to have your last take, your last words to women working out there, mothers, grandmothers, okay, ahead of Mother's Day. What will be your message to them?
Well, enjoy motherhood, enjoy grandmotherhood. I realize now my granddaughter is 13. Gradually, she'll drift away from us because she is a little lady now. You know, she has her own friends. And in fact, today, I think is the first day she went to school on the bus.
Oh.
And I find it very difficult to let go. I've been driving her to school, picking her up, right? But her mother says she's old enough now, she must get on the bus. So enjoy it, and think of them not as your daughters, but as your friend.
Yeah.
When they get to a certain age, you have to be very level with them. You have to talk to them as a friend. And that way you can have a really good relationship with them. And I truly believe that. My son and I are real good buddies. And I'm very glad that I had him when I was 23, because when he came back to live with me at 16, I can play tennis with him. I can ride bicycles with him. I was still young, you see.
Yeah.
So it's wonderful. Being a mother are many things, but one of the biggest joy in my life is definitely loving them and having them with me. Enjoy them.
Thank you, Francis. We can't wait for you to come back to Malaysia, and that hope to catch up with you, with all our friends.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Francis, for spending time. And,
Thank you.
Please like, share, and follow Frances Yip and Real Chun Wai. Thank you so much. Good night,
Thank
Francis.
you.
We catch up again.
Good night. Thank you.